All right, so you're going to come and sit a little bit towards the front edge of your mat, knees bent, and you don't want to feel any kind of pinching in the hips. So give yourself space, or sometimes what you need to do is take the feet wide or something to that effect. And then we're just going to start with a rounded spine. Let your head rest on your forearms, and you want to be able to completely relax into this position here. So make any adjustments you need to your hips, your feet, your arms, your neck, and your shoulders. Then you can allow your eyes to close. And start to lengthen each inhale and each exhale. And it doesn't matter if you're breathing in or out through the nose or the mouth. See if you can match each inhale to the length of each exhale. And just for a moment as you sit here, allow your abdominals to relax, allow your belly to soften. And just notice the shape of your spine. Notice the curve of your ribs at the back. Notice the ease of your breath in the shape. Maybe start to soften all the areas that you're holding onto unnecessarily. And taking just a moment to notice how your energy feels this morning. And if you could describe your energy in one word, what would it be? Taking one more gentle breath in and out. Slowly opening your eyes, blinking gently. Taking your time as you unravel your spine, just roll up nice and tall. Place your hands just around the front of your knees. You're going to use your arms to help yourself here. Lengthen your spine, pull with your arms as you create height through the crown of your head. And then curl your tail under and start rolling yourself backwards. Take yourself back as far as you can. Perhaps you can let the elbows straighten so you hang off your hands for a second. Relax your neck. Take a breath in. And exhale, pull with the arms. Roll back up and lift up nice and tall. Let's do two more like this. Curl the tail under. Just finding a little bit of a stretch into the lower back, maybe between the shoulder blades. And then bend the elbows, pull. And then engage those back muscles. Use your arms to help you. One more time, curl the tailbone back. We're just finding a little bit of mobility through the spine here. Take a breath in. And then exhale, pull. Rolling all the way up to sit up nice and tall. Now release your hands, let them come forward, but see if you can soften the neck and shoulders. And then curl the tailbone under. You probably won't be able to go back as far. Go back just enough to find a connection to the lower abs without taking any strain in the lower back. And then I invite you to close your eyes. You don't have to, but bring your awareness and your focus across the lower band of abdominals. Notice how with each breath out, you can get a sensation of flattening the abdominal wall. And with each inhale, you can find a little bit of softness into the back of the body. Keep softening through the neck and the shoulders as you focus your awareness to the lower abdominals. And perhaps you can start to feel the connection into the front of the hips. And that hip flexor muscle is called the iliopsoas. So those muscles are working together right now to help you stabilize this position of the body. Just taking one more breath in and out. Open your eyes. And on your next breath, start curling forward, using the abdominals, and then lift up and sit up nice and tall. Take another breath in. Feel the hip flexors, hey? And then exhale, we're gonna go all the way down onto our backs this time. Use your hands to help yourself if you need to, and place your hands behind you. Good. Now you can either bring your hips closer to your feet or your feet closer to your hips. Decide where you want to place your arms. Decide where you want to place your knees and feet. And we're gonna go up into a pelvic curl. So again, take a breath. Exhale. Tilt your hips and start rolling up into a bridge. So for those of us that really felt the hip flexors a few seconds ago on that exercise, this is a wonderful release for it. And then we're just going to ripple again down through the spine. Imprint into the lower back and release. And we're going to do 2 more of these. So again, we're creating mobility through the hips, through the spine. Stay at the top for a moment, make any adjustments you need, and then work your way. Soften through the neck, through the ribs, through the lower back, and release. So we're gonna do one more time. Tilting your hips, rolling up into your bridge, and we're going to stay here. See if you can close your eyes. You're welcome to keep your eyes open. And once again, bring your awareness to your pelvis. But this time, instead of focusing on the front of the hip, we're focusing at the back of the hip. Bring your awareness to the base of your pelvis, where the gluteus maximus is, where the upper part of the hamstrings are. Keep tilting your pelvis posterior. In other words, it's a feeling of tilting your pubic bone towards your nose in order to find the connections at the base of the pelvis. If you notice your lower back is starting to grab, then why don't you just bring your hips down a little bit? You don't have to stay lifted really high. This is about finding stability around the various joints of the body. Open your eyes, take a breath in, and exhale. Start to ripple down through the spine. Imprint and release. Just walk your feet nice and wide. Take your hands a little bit wider than your mat. You can do palms down or palms up. And then on your own time, just start rolling both knees to one side. Get a little twist in the spine, and then roll your knees to the other side. Get a little twist in the spine. So it doesn't matter how far down you go with your legs, as long as it feels like an appropriate movement for you. So if you've got any instability or pain around the lower back, then maybe just contain this a little bit. Let's just take a few more. Finding the mobility. And then come back to the center. And now you're going to walk your knees and your feet right next to each other. So squeeze the knees together, squeeze the feet together. And you're going to roll your knees over towards the right. But because you've got the knees and the feet together, you're going to lift the left foot off ground, and I want you to take it to a point where you can keep the left shoulder down, and we're going to hold it there. And once again, your eyes open or closed. This is not about finding the stretch now. This is about finding the connections into the obliques muscles. So with your knees going over towards the right, can you feel how the left side of your waist is working to support you here? This is eccentric control around the obliques muscles. Keep squeezing the knees together. Decide if you need to take your knees lower, or maybe you need to bring them back slightly. Make sure that you've got the ribs gently closing so that you're not extending the spine. You want the abdominals to work. Open your eyes and then roll yourself back to the center using those same abdominal muscles to draw yourself back. Knees together, feet together on the floor. And now roll your knees over to the left, keeping the ankles glued together. So your right foot's going to come up off the ground. And again, find the place where you can hold your legs in space, shoulders down, and you have a connection to the right set of abdominals. It's not about stretching. It's not about arching the back. It's about finding that core connection, the abdominal connection. Keep breathing. And again, every time you breathe out, it gives us this amazing capacity to deepen our connection to whichever muscle it is that we are engaging or releasing. So remember the power of your breath. Taking just one more. Open your eyes if they're closed, and then draw your legs all the way back to the center, and you can stay here for a moment. Good. Let your pelvis settle. Bring your knees and your feet just slightly apart so that the inner thighs aren't working too hard. And then bring both hands straight up towards the sky. Maybe wiggle your spine out and lengthen. And let's go into our arm scissors. So just finding a little bit of mobility around the shoulder joints. Finding that gliding action of the scapula that accompanies that arm movement. And as much as possible, softening the curve through the neck and through the shoulders. Slide the ribs closed. Bring both hands up towards the sky. And now what we're going to do today is both arms slowly move overhead. Keep the ribs closed. Keep the back of the head nice and heavy. And then hold it there. And once again, close your eyes. And you might feel that your arms are incredibly heavy in this overhead position, because we're asking the muscles around the shoulder joints, around the shoulder girdle, to stabilize in a lengthened position. It's called eccentric work. Stay with your breath. And if it feels painful, or if it feels like it's pinching at all, then just bring the arms up a little bit higher. There's no reason why you should force yourself into a place that doesn't feel good for you. Finding your stability and finding the connections. Keep the palms of the hands facing each other. Try and keep the elbows as straight as possible so that you really are working from the shoulder joint itself. Stay for just a few more moments. And then, if your eyes are closed, you can open them gently, blink, and bringing both hands all the way up towards the sky. Wow, doesn't that feel heavy? And now, interlock your fingers, place your hands underneath your head, And then maybe you can just let your ribs pop up. Maybe you can press the elbows back. Just do a little bit of a wiggle around if it feels good for you. And then relax your head into your hands and bring the elbows up a little bit. Nod your chin. And on your breath out, let's come up into a chest lift. And release back. Now just keep going at your own rhythm. And yes, we're working the abdominals here. You're going to feel that the upper abs are having to work. But notice how the back of your body has to release. Let's just take a few more. Let's take one more. Curl forward and hold it here. You guys knew this was coming, right? So you can either keep one hand or both hands behind your head. Close your eyes and start to focus on the upper attachments of the abdominals. If your lower back is taking any strain whatsoever, perhaps just tuck your pelvis a little bit, moving into a slight imprint of the spine to help yourself. Few more breaths, finding the stability around the upper trunk flexors, your upper abs. Open your eyes, take a breath, and then exhale and releasing all the way down. Nicely done. Take your hands out, placing your hands onto your pelvis, and then just maybe turn your head softly from side to side. And bringing your head back to the center. So imagine you have glue on your feet. Stabilize your pelvis and your lumbar spine. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, try to pick up the right leg. But remember that you have glue on your foot. So in fact, your foot cannot lift up. You're finding those deep connections again, the hip flexor, all the way into your deep core connection. And then allow that foot to go heavy. Keep the stability. Take another breath. Exhale. Try to pick up the left leg. Your foot is stuck. You can feel the core connections. It's deep, deep work. Take a little breath. And exhale, release the foot down. We're going to add on. Take a little breath. Exhale. Try to pick up the right leg. Find your core stability. And then release your foot and allow your knee to come up. So now you're holding your leg in the air. Make sure that your lower back feels secure. So if you need to tilt, then you can go ahead and tilt, but then stabilize where you are. Flex your right foot. And as you breathe out, extend your leg as straight as you can manage. So you're going to feel a hamstring stretch, but I want you to focus on working the quadricep muscle and then bend that knee down again. And again. Exhale, extend. It doesn't matter if your leg is completely straight or not. Keep working with your flexibility. And exhale, squeezing your quadricep. And release. Now one more time. Exhale, squeeze your quadricep and hold it here. I want you to lower your leg halfway down towards the ground. If your leg wasn't straight before, then squeeze it straight here. And then bring the leg back up. Keep the knee straight, and that's going to determine how high up you can bring your leg. Do you have stability through your pelvis? Lower your leg halfway down. And then exhale. Lift the leg up. So what we're doing here is engaging all 4 quadriceps muscles. And one of those quadriceps, by the way, crosses over the hip joint. So you're going to feel quite a bit of work coming into that hip. Now take one more time. This is going to be mean. I'm just warning you now. Lift your leg up, and I'm going to ask you to stay here. Close your eyes. Feel your thigh muscles. Do you notice that that thigh muscle, the quadricep, can straighten the knee, so you're going to feel the muscles down to the knee joint, and it also flexes the hip, so you're probably feeling it around the hip right now as well. And then open your eyes, and you're going to point your toe, bring your leg all the way down, all the way down. Make your leg rest on the floor. Take your right arm, reach it all the way overhead, and then stretch. Imagine somebody's pulling on your hand. Imagine that somebody's pulling on your toe, and you're giving yourself a lengthening down that right side. And then bring yourself to center, put your hand on your pelvis, and bend that right leg, placing the foot down. Stabilize, pelvis and lumbar spine. You've got glue on your feet. Take a breath. Exhale, try to pick up that left leg. Deep core connection. And then release your foot and let your knee come up to a tabletop position. Flex the foot. Breathe out as you stretch. And release. Exhale and stretch. And release. So yes, you're working on lengthening the hamstring at the back, but that pull is coming from the quadriceps. So usually what we do is we hold on behind the legs so the quadriceps don't have to work so hard. This time they're needing to work. Hold it straight this time. Lower your leg halfway down, and if your knee wasn't straight before, this is where you get to straighten it. And then lift your leg up again. Keep the leg straight. It doesn't matter how high you come as long as you've got the quadricep working. Lower. Find your pelvic stability and lift. Make sure that your lower back feels okay. Make the adjustments that you need. One more time. And press up. Hold it there this time. Close your eyes and focus. Bring your awareness to the quadriceps. Feel them straightening the knee. Feel them flexing at the hip. Stay with your breath. How does it feel on this left side in comparison to the right? Open your eyes. Point your toes. Bring that leg all the way down. Let it rest on the floor. Left hand comes up overhead. And then stretch. Finding that length through the side of the body. Reaching through fingertips. Reaching through the toes. And then bring yourself back to the center. Arm down. Bend the knees. And now I want you to wiggle the knees and the feet together again. On your breath, do a tiny tilt with the pelvis, just so that you're imprinting your spine, and then release back to neutral. And again, it's a tiny tilt with the hips, and releasing it back. Let's just do a few more, stretching out that lower back. There was a cappuccino on your lower tummy. You're literally just letting the foam spill out the side of the cup. So you're not actually lifting your whole pelvis off the ground. I want you to keep your bum cheeks nice and relaxed. Bring your awareness to your lower abs. Now do one more tilt of the hips and stay there. Squeeze the knees towards each other. Visualize the zipping action from the pubic bone up to your navel. And once again, close your eyes. Stay with your breath. Squeezing the inner thighs. Zipping up through those abdominals. Bringing all your awareness down to the lower attachments of the abs, feeling the inner thighs work, and that's going to help you connect into the pelvic floor. Stay here for one more breath in and out. Open your eyes, release your pelvis, and then just allow your knees to open out like a butterfly. So you're going to place the soles of your feet together. You can actually put your hands just on the insides of your legs and maybe just rock the knees from side to side. Give it a little bit of a release here. And then move your hands behind your legs and help yourself bring the legs all the way up. Roll onto your right side, making a little pillow with your underneath arm, or in fact, you could use a proper pillow. Knees are going to be slightly bent, and you're going to place your hand onto the shelf of your hip. So chin up, shoulders down, underneath the oblique is engaging. And you take your top leg, stretch it out. So your left leg is lengthened, and then you're going to flex that foot. So just check your setup position for yourself. If you can visualize, or if you can actually look, that you've got a straight line from ear to shoulder to hip to knee to ankle. Good, that looks nice, Jules. And you also want to make sure that you've got your leg lifted at the height of your hip. Don't let it collapse down. Keep your leg in parallel. So in other words, your toes and your kneecap are pointing forward as opposed to rotating upwards. And from here, we're just going to create a little bit of movement, taking the leg halfway down and then bringing your leg a little bit higher than your hip. And again, bring it halfway down and bring it up higher. And again, lower and lift. So we're finding the range around the hip, bringing the leg up and down. One more time. Bring your leg just a little bit higher than your hip, and this is where I'm going to hold it. So this is now targeting gluteus medius. Get the underneath oblique connected. Double check you still have a straight line with your body, but this time your leg is lifted higher than your pelvis. And then if you want to, you can close your eyes. So, you know, closing your eyes is valuable because it gives you an opportunity to just focus on what you're feeling, like what you're actually connecting to. Functionally, it's nice to open your eyes because then you're actually bringing your body into the outside surroundings. Still hopefully with those same connections. So that makes it functional for daily living. So decide what you need to do. So hopefully you guys are starting to feel that little bit of work around the gluteus medius. Stay here for just a few more moments. Take a breath in and exhale, point your toe, bend the knee, and then just relax down for a moment and give your tushies just a little bit of a rub. Nicely done, guys. Now, put your hand on the floor for balance and stretch both your legs out nice and long. By the way, if you've got bony hips, you might want to put like a little cushion underneath your hip. Straight line, same straight line. Chin up, shoulders down. Squeeze your legs together. And on your breath, lift both your legs. And releasing it down. So now we want the work to come from the obliques. You can probably still feel that the gluteals are active because they've just been woken up. And if you're taking strain in your neck, remember guys, you can use your fingers to push into the neck or you can turn your head down. See what works for you. Let's take 3 more. 2 more. 1 more time. Lift both your legs and stop. You want to bring your awareness and your focus to the obliques on the left side. Close your eyes or keep them open. Keep directing your focus, your awareness, your breath into the obliques. Staying here for just 2 more breaths in and out. Beautiful work, guys. Take a breath and then release down. Let's bend the knees all the way up so you're sitting in a chair, and let's just do a lovely release exercise. So left hand comes forward, bring your arm up and back, and take yourself into your thoracic rotation. And we're just gonna hang out here for a bit. So let your arm, let your shoulders, your hips and your knees move as they need to. Finding that open twist through the spine. Feeling the release through the front arm. Taking 1 more breath in and out. And then exhale, lifting your arm and coming all the way to the front. Good. So just split your feet, push with your left hand onto the floor so that you can come up into a side sitting position. And then you're going to overlap your knees and have your left foot in front. Make sure that your right hand is firmly to the ground with the middle finger pointing away. And then take your free hand, put it underneath your rib cage here, and start just letting your shoulder hunch towards your ear, and then push away from your hand, and you can feel almost like your ribs lift away from the floor. And so once again, we're just exploring some movement here. As much as possible, your right elbow wants to stay straight so that there's literally just the movement coming from the shoulder joint and from the scapula. So it's almost like a gliding sensation of the scapula on the back of the ribs again, yeah? And it's amazing how much range it has, just that scapula. Now press away from your hand, stay there, keep the other hand under your ribs. If it's not comfortable, then take it away, and close your eyes. And you're bringing your awareness to the muscles that come underneath the ribs here. It's a very specific little muscle group called the serratus anterior. And the serratus anterior is responsible for making the scapula, your shoulder blade, glide wide on the back of your body. And for most of us, the serratus doesn't really like to work or doesn't know how to work properly. So I want you to feel the connections. Maybe you can actually feel the muscle with your fingertips. And then open your eyes and push yourself all the way upright. Spin both your legs out in front of you. And now you're going to pick up your left leg, because that's the one we were just working, and cross that foot over. So you're going to stand on that foot, flex the right leg, and now put your left hand behind your back, lift up nice and tall, reach up, and let's come into our twist. So you're twisting towards the left. You're going to hook your elbow and then help yourself into that little bit of a rotation. And again, this is where your breathing will assist and guide you. You actually don't need to push. Notice how every time you breathe in and out, that there's almost like an internal release. So we're starting to have this wonderful effect on all the fascia, the connective tissue, on the inside of our body. Take a breath in, and then slowly release and coming all the way back. And then uncross, swing both your legs out to the right this time. So now you're going to be lying on the other side. So now you're lying on your left side so that your right leg is going to be doing the job. Knees are going to be a little bit bent. Place your hand onto the shelf of your hip, chin up, shoulders down, and underneath oblique engaged. Take your top leg, your right leg, and extend it out. Flex your foot, and then just stay there for a moment. And you're going to have that long, straight line of your body. And you're going to have your leg lifted at the height of your hip. And you're going to have your toes and your kneecaps pointing straight forward. And now let's start to move a little bit. So bring your leg halfway down, and then lift your leg up again. Go a little bit higher than your hip. And again, lower halfway down, and lift. Keep it going. And we are starting to target that gluteus medius. So as I've said in previous classes, but just a reminder, is you want to ensure that your obliques on the underneath side of your body are working, because that's what's going to support the spine. Because if you let your spine move, you don't actually have to work the hip. So stabilize your spine so you can target the hip. Lift your leg up and now stay there. Close your eyes, or you can keep them open. Focusing on gluteus medius. Such important stabilizers for the sacroiliac joints and the pelvis. It holds us together from the right and from the left. Stay here for just a few more moments. Mental focus. There's such incredible power of the mind here. And then opening eyes. And point your toe, bend your knee, and give your bottoms a little bit of a rub. Nicely done. Now, fingertips onto the ground. Stretch both your legs all the way out long. Remember the padding underneath the hip if you need it. Glue your legs together, and on your breath, lifting both legs up. So you can feel the top oblique is working. Keep it going. We're trying not to push with the hand into the floor. The fingertips are there for balance. And if you feel that your lower back is taking over, which is quite common for a lot of us, if you feel your lower back is overworking, there's a very simple trick, is that this top hip bone, you can literally roll it backwards like a centimeter. And as soon as you roll the hip backwards, it pretty much forces the workload to the front of the body in the obliques. So maybe just play with that and see if that works for you. Remember your head and neck position. Any adjustments that you need, or maybe some pressure points with your fingers. One more time. Lifting your legs up, and now I want you to stay there. And again, you can open your eyes or close your eyes, but we are bringing our focus, our awareness to the obliques on the right side. Just a few more seconds. How does the side feel in comparison to the first side? And open eyes, release, and then bend both knees all the way up as if you're sitting in a chair. Cradle your head, right hand reaches forward. Let's do one opening of the chest, thoracic rotation. Reaching up, rolling all the way back. Ah, that is such an amazing stretch for the front arm line. Staying here for just a few moments. And on your next breath, bringing your arm all the way back, all the way to the front, and relax. Good. Just split your feet so that you can come into a side sitting position. And then you're going to overlap your knees and just put your right foot in front. Take a look at your left hand. Make sure that the middle finger is pointing away from you, that it feels somewhat comfortable. And now, right hand goes underneath the ribs. And you're just going to let your shoulder move up and down. Remember that the elbow is as straight as possible. So we're bringing our awareness to the back of our bodies, feeling the scapula glide. A little bit of elevation up to the ear, a little bit of depression away from the ear, a little bit of retraction towards the spine, and a little bit of protraction away from the spine. Let's just do one more time. Press out and hold it there. Close your eyes and feel. Use your hand on the underside of your ribs if you need. Feel the muscles, serratus anterior. And especially on some bodybuilders or surfers, people who have a lot of upper body strength, you can see the definition of these muscles incredibly, and it almost looks like little fingers coming around the sides of their ribs. Finding your connection, stay here for just a few more seconds. And then open your eyes and bring yourself all the way upright. Spin your feet out to the front. And you're going to pick up now your right leg, cross that foot over, flexing the left toes up. Right hand goes behind your back. Sit up nice and tall, reach up, and just come into a little bit of a twist. So again, not forcing it. Don't use your arms or brute force to push. Focus on your breathing and how your breathing creates an internal release. Taking just one more time. And let your body come back to the center, uncross, and then simply bring yourself onto all fours. So placing your wrists below shoulders, getting your knees below hips, and then make any adjustments you need to the positioning of your body. Tuck your toes under. And you're going to hover your knees off the ground. So this is one of our classic stabilizing exercises right here. So pretty much every single joint of the body is being asked to work, to stabilize right now. And as long as you can hold the shape of your body, we are working every single joint. Now let's create a little bit of movement of shifting back, and again, pressing back. Notice how when we move our body weight, it loads the different joints. One more time. Come back to the center, release the knees, and relax the feet out. Round your spine like a cat. Let's take a little bit of a break here, just letting your hips move back. And we're just going to stay here. We're not going to do any bouncing at the moment. I just want you to notice the stretch around the sacrum and the lumbar spine. Find the soft curve of your back. And notice that there is hardly any weight on the hands and on the wrists. And you might get quite a nice stretch along the arm line as well here. Take a nice easy breath in, and then exhale, bringing yourself all the way forward, and then walk yourself down into lying on your stomach, however that feels good for you. That's it. All right, so we're going to start off just with 3 baby cobras so you can feel how it is on your body today. Decide how you're placing your legs, engage gluteals, placing the arms down so you can hover the tip of your nose, and coming up into a little baby cobra, and releasing down. And do whatever breathing feels good for you. 2 more. And release. And we're going to do 1 more time. Now stay lifted for a moment. And then bringing your legs up off the ground. Holding it here. And then, if you can, lift your arms off the ground. Feeling that opening of the front of the body, feeling the engaging along the back line of the body, and then release yourself all the way down again. Now put your left hand underneath your head and rest your head, bend the right knee, and then reach back to either grab onto your pants, that's it, or your ankle or your foot, and then settle yourself into a little bit of a hip flexor and quadricep stretch. So guys, don't force your knee where it doesn't want to go. If your knee needs to go out to the side, then do that, all right? What I would like you to do is to engage the bum cheeks a little bit so that you feel the front of the hip is almost flattening towards the ground like a pancake. And you get just an amazing stretch down the front of the quadriceps. Take a little breath in. And then release and extend the leg out. And then switch over to the other side. So now you're going to have your right hand under your head. Reach back with the left hand. Grab onto what you can. It might be different on that side. And then settle yourself into your stretch. And remember that little squeeze with the gluteals. Stay for just a few more moments. So what the intention here is to help release the front of the body so that when we go back into our cobra and our back extension, it makes it easier for us to engage the back of the body. So that's the focus. And release, stretch that leg out. Take a moment to let your hips and knees settle and then come back to your cobra position. Stay here. We're going to start lifting up into a baby cobra. Pause for a moment. Squeeze the bum cheeks and see if you can lift your legs up off the ground. Now see if you can hover your arms off the ground and then close your eyes and find the stability along the back of your body. Now because we've got the legs straight, it means the loading is only going into our back muscles. Lower back, mid back, upper back. Allow them to work. Feel the support. Feel the opening of the front of your body. And then open your eyes and releasing everything down at the same time. Pop your elbows up. Push into your hands and then move yourself into a resting position. So give yourself padding wherever you need it. Put your arms wherever it feels good for you. And this is just a little bit of a counterbalance to that back extension work that we were just doing. Nice, easy breathing. Taking 1 more breath in and out. And then make your way up again onto all fours. Once again, make sure that your wrists are in a place that feel okay for you. And we're going to do A little bit of cross-patterning work here. Start by taking the left leg backwards. Keep your tippy toes on the floor. And then walk your right fingertips forward. So it's opposite arm to opposite leg. Take a moment to make sure that your shoulders and your pelvis are level. And then lift your arm and leg up. And hold it here. Now you want to make sure that the arm and the leg are lifted enough that you can feel the bum cheek on the left leg and you can feel the upper back on the right arm working to support you. Lower abs are connected. And if you wanted to challenge yourself, you could try and close your eyes here and bring your awareness into your core connection. So we're working the cross pattern from the right arm to the left leg, but we can feel the core connection from the left arm to the right leg. One more breath in and out, and if your eyes are open, you can, if they're closed, you can open them, and then bring your arm and your leg all the way back in. Nicely done. Try the other side. Stretching the right leg back, walking the left fingertips forward, and then before you lift anything, double check your alignment with pelvis and shoulders. Lift the arm and the leg. Now it doesn't have to be a high lift, but it has to be high enough that you can feel the muscles working. So right gluteals, left upper back, and then you can keep your eyes open or you can close them, but bring your awareness now to your hand and your leg that are connected to the ground. Notice the stability and the work that's required to help you balance here on the floor. Stay with your breath. We just have a few more seconds here. And then, if your eyes are closed, you can open them. And bringing the arm and the leg all the way back in. Center yourself for a moment. Round your spine like a cat. Sitting your hips halfway back. And now, if you choose, you can do that little trampolining action. Otherwise, you can just settle there and allow yourself to breathe. Whatever feels good for you. Last one. Bringing yourself all the way forward and lengthen your spine to neutral. One more time. Tuck your toes under on the floor. You're going to hover your knees just up off the ground. And then moving your hips back. Send your hips up into your inverted V. Pedal the heels down for a moment so you get a little bit of a stretch. And then push both heels towards the floor. Settle yourself into this shape. And once again, I invite you to close your eyes. And finding stability through all the joints of your body. Noticing the points of contact to the ground. Noticing the joints that are suspended. Taking one more breath in and out. Open your eyes, bend your knees, and just walk your feet halfway forward. And then walk your hands back towards your toes, coming onto the tips of your fingers. And maybe you want to bend and straighten the knees a few times. And then settle yourself where you can dangle. So you're going to place one hand onto the opposite elbow, other hand onto the opposite elbow, and just allow your arms to frame your head. Breathing into the stretch, into this inversion, allowing gravity to do its job here. Almost finding a little bit of a traction, like a decompressing of the joints. And then releasing your arms, softening your knees. Take your time as you roll up, and especially if you feel any kind of lightheadedness, maybe you just want to hold on to the wall, or if you're next to the chair, take time as you come up. Roll your shoulders back and around for a moment. So I'm going to be turning backwards so you can see me from the back. You can interlock your hands behind your back and then move your hands over to your left hip. So you're going to get a little bit of an opening along that right shoulder, and then tilt your head just over towards the left shoulder so you can increase that release down the right side. Don't force it, just allow the breath. Move your head a little bit if you need to. There's no right or wrong place for your head. Let your head come all the way back up. Take your time, release, especially if there's any shoulder issues. You don't want to move too quickly. Now bring your fists over towards the right hip. Remember, you can bend your knees if you need to. And then tilt your head over towards the breathing. And remember, you can move your head and neck position if you need. Allow your head to come up slowly and releasing your arms. Good. Unlock your hands. Just let them settle beside you. And just as we started, close your eyes. Your awareness to your breath. Let each inhale match the length of each exhale. Become aware of your physical body in space. Bring your awareness to your energy and how you are feeling. You can think of one word to describe your energy now. What would it be? Take a nice deep breath in. Open your mouth and sigh. Open eyes slowly. Bring yourself back into your space. Let's take one deep breath in. Raise each fingertip to its partner. Exhale, open your arms. Create that lovely space for yourself to take yourself through the rest of your day. Roll your shoulders back and around. Maybe bend and straighten the knees a little bit. Give everything a little bit of a shake. Are you good?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
So
That was amazing.
pleasure. So nice to focus on that stability work,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Jules, it's another word for isometric.